You want to be on camera? Is that what you want? Huh? Huh? You want to be on camera? Hey everybody, this is Jeremiah at Reed Racing. We are back for another video. In the last video, you saw us put all the rings on the pistons. In this video, we're going to put new bearings in, main bearings and rod bearings. And then we're going to drop the crank into the motor. And then we're going to flip it over after we get the main caps torqued down. And then drop pistons in. In the start of the video, we have Donovan and Rosa helping us again. I believe we get 3 of the pistons in before the camera died. We ended up putting the 4th piston in before they left. And then the next day, Nolan and Ryan came over to help continue working on the motor. But I took a picture of one of the old rings that had a dot on top to kind of show you guys what I was talking about. The new rings actually said C top for the compression ring, which is the top ring for the top side. And then the middle one had an M top for the middle ring. But the old ones that I pulled out just had a dot for the top. So I'm going to take a picture of that and I'll put that in the corner over here. As always, if you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you learn anything or want to follow along, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. We'll have a lot of racing coming up as soon as this coronavirus stuff's all over with. So with that being said, let's get started. So we got all our new Molly piston rings on. We're going to put the Molly Clevite bearings in. So you want to put the rear main seal in first, and then your bearings. I got these little tabs on to line them up. You know, make sure the oil holes are lined up as well.
Say then your top ones won't have a hole.
Yeah. So all the ones that have the hole are going to go in before you put your crank in. The ones that don't go on basically the main caps. So we're going to put the crank in next. We're going to put some oil on there.
So it's called like plastic gauge.
Yeah.
And put a little piece of plastic gauge on the crank.
Yep.
Torque it down.
Take it back off, and then you're just measuring the thickness of it compared to this little chart, which we're about 003, which is about where you want to be. So this is probably the easiest one to see. These are all marked in inches. One side of this is in inches, the other side's in millimeters. But it's 002, 003, up to 006. Different colors go different clearance ranges, and you're basically just measuring the thickness of that plastic gauge compared to the thickness of these, and that'll tell you about what your about what your bearing clearances are. Mine's about 0.003, which is about where we want it. We'd like it a little tighter probably, but we're not gonna turn anything for that much. So, or get different bearings anyways. So now we're going to torque these down. I do the inside bolts first, then the outside bolts, and you'll move from this one to this, to this, to this, and then you end up here on the last one.
What's the reason for the order that you're doing it in?
The torque sequence, it basically keeps it from warping. You could bend, potentially put a slight bend in the crank, and which is going to cause premature failure pretty shortly if you have any kind of oddities in the crank. It should be pretty much perfectly straight. Otherwise, it's rotating so fast that that extra weight's just going to bend it even more.
Off balance.
Yeah. Basically, the motor's going to go boom pretty quick. So we're torquing all of them to 65 right now, and then I'll go back through, and the center two on each, I'll go to 70. So next we're going to drop pistons in. We're going to flip the engine over. Here, you get the apple. So when you put these in, you want the large side to be towards the journals on the crank. So basically where the two rods come together will be this flat side that's smaller. And we need to change the rod bearings to go together just like the main bearings. They're in that box. The rod bearings go together just like the main bearings. So we're using this ring compressor to compress all the rings so that it'll actually fit down into the cylinders. This one's a Harbor Freight one, so it's not the fanciest thing in the world by far.
Hopefully the child is not touching it. I guess they could have just given me his.
Did you grab tablet chargers too while you were out there? She's definitely tight. All right. So I dinged up my hand washing the golf cart the other day. Kind of had the body fall on it and either broke my finger or severely bruised it. So Nolan's going to help finish putting the motor together now, along with Levi. Right now he's compressing the rings on the piston. Choose the handle on it. Then he's going to make sure you're guiding the rod down too. Yep. I don't know if you guys can see in there, but you can go down with the rod a little more. Basically sliding the rod over the crank. Then he's going to put the cap on the other side. So we're going to put these last three in now, and then we're going to torque them all down. Next one will be 6. It's going to go right here. Just going to put a little bit of lube down in the cylinder. The piston will push it down when it goes down.
Yeah, I'm just making sure I get this top side.
And then we're going to put a little bit on the bearing. Take the cap off. Levi's trying to help. And we had to switch a couple of rods, so I wanted to make sure we did it right. So next we gotta compress the rings again. Basically loosen that up. I'm gonna pop the piston up just a little bit so that he can get the rings or the compressor on it a little better. And And then he's just going to tighten it down, compress the rings. Once he's got it tight, make sure the piston's straight with the cylinder. And then he's just going to tap her down with the hammer. Whoop. Okay. Let me check. Okay. So he's just going to keep pushing down. There we go. Now when you get them all done and in there, like on this set, there should be a little bit of side-to-side play in there. And if there's not, then it's going to be too tight, or you have the rods backwards. You got the, should be both numbers on your side.
Yep.
Normally your rods will be stamped, like this one here has got a number. Only one side of a rod and the cap have that number stamped on them, or should be. And those numbers should always go together. And on the rod, no, well, there's numbers. So the numbers, if the rods are put in right, the numbers should dictate where they go. So this is 7, so that's going to go in cylinder 7. And then if you look at this way, see how this side's bigger and has a chamfer where this side's kind of flat? Mm-hmm. This side goes towards the other rod, this side goes towards the crank. So if you look down in the hole, see where the rod is? Yeah. So this flat side's going to go against the rod, this side's going to go against the crank. And you also want, when you put your piston in, you want eyebrows up. So if it's not right, then you're going to have to flip the rod around, kind of thing. You want to be on camera? Is that what you want? Huh? Huh? You want to be on camera? So now, these 4 should already be torqued. These 4 are not. So there's torque wrench right behind Nolan. I believe they're a 7/16 bolt. So now the torque spec on these is 40 to 45.
And what does that mean, substitute driver?
We got our substitute driver while my hand's broken. Probably about the only one that'll fit the seat. Seat's tiny. It's a 14-inch seat. So there you guys have it. We got the new bearings in. We dropped the crank pistons in. We'll pick up there in the next video. I believe we're going to put the oil filter adapter, the oil pump, and the cam in for sure in that video. We'll see how far we get, and then we'll continue on from there. So if you guys liked this video, give it a thumbs up. If you learned anything, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. It helps me continue making videos in the future. Share with your friends. As always, make sure to check out our Facebook and Instagram links, as well as all of our partner links down in the description below, where they always are. I'm also going to include links to the products that I've used in this video, which include the main bearings, the rod bearings, as well as the ring compressor. Basically anything that I use that I think would be helpful for you guys. So, with that being said, we'll see you guys in the next video.